Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, look ahead to today's games in each sport. I'm going to reveal my latest NCAA mock bracket, news and notes, including a sad story, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start in college basketball as we will go over the results from what was a not-so-busy slate yesterday, and we will look ahead to the games for today. Again, I apologize I don't have the totals for today because of the other activities that I had to get done for today's show. Liberty over North Alabama, 74-54. Ohio over Akron, 90-73. Pacific over San Diego, 77-67. Miami of Ohio over Central Michigan, 96-54. Buffalo over Northern Illinois, 102-74. Georgia State over App State, 85-71. Richmond over UMass, 79-65. VC over St. Louis, 67-65. Michigan State upsets number 5 Illinois, 81-72. Number 10 West Virginia over TCU, 74-66. Georgia Tech upsets number 16 Virginia Tech, 69-53. Campbell over High Point, 68-48. Bowling Green over Eastern Michigan, 82-69. Louisville over Notre Dame, 69-57. Georgia over LSU, 91-78. Florida over Auburn, 74-57. Prairie View over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 72-56. Number 2 Baylor over Iowa State, 72-77. Number 8 Villanova over St. John's, 81-58. Penn State over Nebraska, 86-83. Texas Southern over Mississippi Valley State, 82-45. Kansas State upsets number 7 Oklahoma, 62-57. Number 14 Texas over number 17 Kansas, 75-72 in overtime. Ole Miss upsets number 24 Missouri, 60-53. Arizona State over Washington, 97-64. UConn over Georgetown, 70-57. That was a ton of upsets on last night's window. Now we'll look ahead to today's games. 2 o'clock, you have Kent State and Ball State. I'm at Kent State, 6.5 as my line. And FanDuel has this at Kent State, 5.5. Total's 145. If I had to make a choice, I'd go over minus 116. 3:30, Alabama A&M at Southern. I'm at Southern, 4.5, and it's 7. I'm taking Bama A&M plus the 7 at minus 106. 4:30, Clemson, Wake Forest on the ACC Network. I'm at Clemson, 10.5, and it's only 3.5. I'm going to lay the 3.5 at Clemson at minus 116. 5 o'clock, Alabama State and Alcorn State. The line I have projected for this game is Alcorn by 4.5, and it is 5.5. The total is 136. I'm going to take the under, but I do not feel strong about that at all. St. Bonaventure at Davidson. I'm at Bonnie by 2. And it is Davidson 1.5. I'm taking Bonaventure plus 1.5 and plus 106 on the money line. They need to start winning games to secure themselves a good at-large bid for the NCAA tournament in case something happens in the A10 tournament. So give me Bonaventure plus 1.5 and plus 106 on the money line. ESPNU, NCAA, and NC Central. I'm at A&T by 1 and Central by 3. I'm taking A&T plus 3 minus 106, and whatever the money line is, presumptively like plus 135, I'll take that as well. 6 o'clock, Mount Aloysius at Radford. We can skip. Delaware State, Norfolk State. I am at Norfolk by 14 is it. And on FanDuel is 14 as well. For 148.5 is the total. I'm going to go. I don't feel good about this either, but under 148.5 at minus 106. George Washington, George Mason. I'm at Mason by 3, and it is Mason 8. I'm taking George Washington plus 8 at minus 106. Hampton, Longwood. I'm at Longwood 2.5, and it's 8. I'm taking Hampton plus the 8. New Mexico Air Force. I'm at New Mexico 1. And it's 1.5. Total's 127.5. I'm going to take the over 127.5 and minus 106. The number's very low. Dayton St. Joe's. I'm at Dayton 13.5. And it's Dayton 8. I'm going to lay the 8 with Dayton. 6:30 NC State at number 15 Virginia on the ACC network. I'm at Virginia 11. And it's 11. Total's 125.5. I'm going to take the over. Virginia overs have been popular sometimes this year. 7 o'clock, Duquesne, LaSalle. I'm at Duquesne 6. And it's 4.5. Total's 138.5. I'm going to jump on the under at minus 116. ESPN 2, Marquette, UNC. I'm at Carolina by 7. And Carolina is favored by 9. I'm taking Marquette plus the 9 against Carolina. Holy Cross and Boston University. I'm at BU by 9.5, and it's 8. Total's 143. I'm jumping on the over. American and Loyola. I'm at American by 2, and it's Loyola 8. I'm taking American plus the 8, and whatever the money line is. It could be very well be like plus 250, or maybe more than that. CBS Sports Network, Seton Hall, Butler. I'm at Seton Hall 7.5, but I don't have a line out yet. ESPNU, Temple, South Florida. I am at South Florida by 6.5. And it's 5.5. Total's 136. I'm going to jump on another over. SEC Network, South Carolina at Mississippi State. I'm at Mississippi State by 1.5, and it's 5.5. I'm taking South Carolina in the points. Citadel Furman, I'm at Furman 13, and it's 16.5. I'm taking Citadel plus the 16.5. Chattanooga Mercer, I'm at Chattanooga 3, and it's Mercer 3.5. I'm taking Chattanooga plus 3.5 and plus 142 on the money line. Western Carolina and Western Carolina and UNC Greensboro. I'm at Greensboro 17. And it is Greensboro 14. I'm going to lay it with Greensboro. 7:30, Stephen F. Austin at Northwestern State. I'm at Stephen F. Austin by 9, and it's 9.5. Totals 152.5. And I am going to take the under 152.5 at minus 116. 8 o'clock, you have Tulane, Memphis. I'm at Memphis by 13.5, and it is 11.5. I'm going to lay it 11.5 at Memphis at minus 106. Big Ten Network, Indiana, Rutgers. I'm at Rutgers by 0.5, and it's Rutgers 3.5. I'm going to take Indiana plus the points. Not necessarily the win, but to at least cover. McNeese, Southeast Louisiana. I'm at Southeast Louisiana by 2, and it's 4. I'm taking McNeese plus the 4. New Orleans and A&M Corpus Christi. I'm at New Orleans 6.5, and it's 1.5. I'm going to lay to 1.5 at New Orleans. Houston Baptist Nichols. I'm at Nichols 16.5. That's a big number. And it's 12. I'm going to lay to 12 at Nichols at minus 106. Lamar Incarnate Word. I'm at Incarnate Word by 3, and it's 2.5. Total was 134.5. I'm jumping on the over. Northern Arizona and Southern Utah. I'm at Southern Utah by 13. And that's what it is. Total is 143. I'm going to take the over. 8:30, number 11, Florida State at Miami. I'm at FSU by 13. And it is FSU by 11.5. Total is 143. I'm going to take the over. Sam Houston State and Abilene Christian. I am at Abilene Christian by 2. And it's Christian by 7.5. I'm taking Sam Houston State plus the 7.5 to cover. 9 o'clock ESPN 2, number 6 Alabama at number 20 Arkansas. Good game in the SEC. I'm at Bama 5.5. We don't have a line out yet. But from the lock on the symbols, it looks like Bama is 1.5. Or no, Arkansas 1.5. Wrong team's favored here. Vegas probably knows. But I'm taking Bama plus the 1.5. That's what the line is on ESPN. I'm taking them minus 104 to win on the money line, although that could be hashtag Vegas knows. CBS Sports Network, DePaul, number 13, Creighton. I'm at Creighton 18.5. And it's 15. I'm going to lay to 15 with Creighton. SEC Network, number 25, Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Gosh, if Tennessee doesn't win this game, boy. Tennessee 14.5, and it's 8. I'm going to lay to 8 with Tennessee. Fox Sports 1, Xavier Providence. I'm at Xavier 2.5, and it's 2. Total's 142. I'm taking the over. ESPN U, Cincinnati, Tulsa. I'm at Cincinnati 1.5, and it is Tulsa 1.5. I'm taking Cincinnati plus 1.5 and plus 106 straight up. And last but not least, 11 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, Fresno, UNLV. My line's UNLV 2, and it's UNLV 6.5. I'm taking Fresno plus 6.5 to cover the number. Now we'll move on to the NBA as we will look back on yesterday's games, and we will look ahead to the slate for tonight, which is pretty busy with a good doubleheader on ESPN. So without further ado, here we go. Cavs over the Hawks, 112-111. The Cavs 11-21. The Hawks 13-18. This game was decided on a game-winning dunk by Lamar Stevens with 4.1 seconds left. Colin Sexton, 29 points for Cleveland, and Trae Young, 28 with 12 assists for Atlanta. Many thought that he was an all-star snub. Pistons over the Magic, 105-93. His best bet is a dud. Detroit 9-22. Orlando 13-19. Saban Lee, 21 points for Detroit. Nikola Vucevic had 20 with 9 boards. Nets over the Kings, 127-118. The Nets, 21-12. That is, I believe, 7 straight for the Nets. Sacramento, 12-19. James Harden, 29 points and 11 boards, 14 assists, so a triple-double for him. His first as a net. De'Aaron Fox had 27 for Sacramento. Warriors over the Knicks, 114-106, as the Warriors win in the MSG fans debut this year. Golden State 17-15, New York 15-17. Stephen Curry put the team on his back, 37 points. Julius Randle at 25 for the Knicks. 76ers over the Raptors, 109-102. The Sixers are 21-11, Toronto 16-16. Tobias Harris, 23 points for the Sixers. Norman Powell at 24 for the Raptors. Mavericks over the Celtics, 110-107, as Luka Doncic hit the go-ahead 3 with a tenth of a second left. Dallas is 15-15. Boston's under 500 at 15-16. Doncic had 31, 10, and 8. Jaylen Brown, 29 with 5 assists. Bucks over the Timberwolves, 139-112. The Bucks, 19-13. Minnesota, 7-25. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. Karl Anthony Towns, 26 points, 8 boards, 11 assists. Nuggets over the Trailblazers, 111-106. The Nuggets 17-14. Portland 18-13. Nikola Jokic, 41 points for Denver. Damian Lillard had 25 at 13 assists for Portland. Clippers over the Wizards, 135-116. The Clippers 23-10. Washington 11-18. Kawhi Leonard 32 points and 4 assists for the Clippers. Bradley Beal 28 points and 10 assists for the Wiz. Tonight's slate, 7:30 on ESPN tonight. You have the Warriors and the Pacers. I'm at Golden State 4, total 226.5. Meanwhile, FanDuel has this at Indiana 2.5, total 230. There's 2 ways I can go with this, but I get it. Golden State on the second of a back-to-back. But Indiana has a ton of injuries. And to me, that gets the edge to Golden State. So I'm taking the Warriors plus 2.5 and plus 114 on the money line. Yes, it's hard to win back-to-back games in the NBA, but the Warriors have the best player in the court in Stephen Curry in this game, so give me the Warriors plus 2.5 and plus 114 on the money line. Celtics Hawks, I'm at Celtics 3.5 total 223.5. I'm at Celtics 3.5 total 226.5. I'm taking the under. Rockets Cavaliers, I'm at Houston 1.5 total 219. Meanwhile, it's Houston 3.5 total 217.5. I'm taking the Cavaliers plus the 3.5. I know they're on the second of a back-to-back as well, but the Rockets are missing Christian Wood. 8 o'clock Raptors Heat, I'm at Miami 2 total 220. Meanwhile, it is Miami 2.5 total 214. I love the over in this game. Toronto's offense really has turned the corner a little bit. Miami, I know, is not very good offensively, but I still believe in the players on the roster. So it's going to be over 214. Timberwolves Bulls, I'm at Bulls 10.5 total 226. Meanwhile, it's Bulls 3.5 total 229. That's way too low. I'm taking the Bulls minus the 3.5 against the Timberwolves. Oh my goodness, that is low. Unless that there's more injuries on the Bulls. I factored in Markkanen's injury. I don't think D'Angelo Russell's back. Even if Russell's back, I still have a big edge on the Bulls. Pistons Pelicans, I'm at Pelicans 9 total 225. Meanwhile, it is Pelicans 9.5 total 222.5. I'm going to take another over involving the Pistons. It did not work yesterday, but the Pelicans are a much better offensive team than the Magic, led by Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Spurs Thunder, I'm at Spurs 6.5 total 221. Meanwhile, it's OKC 2.5 total 218.5. I'm taking the Spurs plus the 2.5 and plus 118 on the money line. The Thunder are really not playing well at all at the moment. Meanwhile, the Spurs are fighting for a playoff spot, so I'm taking the Spurs plus 2.5 and plus 118 on the money line. This could be a Vegas nose game for sure. I'm just going to double check and make sure that the Spurs don't have any significant injuries. I know they're coming off COVID and everything. LaMarcus Aldridge questionable. Oh, DeMar DeRozan out. Derek White out. Keldon Johnson out. So, Keldon Johnson to me, with his improvement this year, is worth a half. Derek White's worth not much. I don't think Derek White's worth anything on the spread. DeRozan's worth 2 points. So I missed all this with the Spurs, guys. I apologize for this. So I'm going to update my injury report on the fly here. DeRozan health and safety protocol. So it looks like they have some guys back. Derek White a half and Johnson a half. So that is 3 points off the spread for the Spurs, and I still project them as a favorite here. I'm still going to take them, and even without Aldridge, I project the Spurs as a favorite. So give me the Spurs plus the 2.5 and plus 118 on the money line. 9 o'clock Hornets Suns. I'm at Phoenix 12.5 total 222. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 226. I'm taking the under. And last but not least, the nightcap of the doubleheader on ESPN, a great game in the Western Conference, the Lakers and the Jazz. I'm at Jazz 6.5 total 220.5. The Lakers injuries factored into this line. It's Jazz 8 total 218. I'm really, really mad that I don't have value on the Jazz. But what I do have value on is the over. I know no Anthony Davis, no Dennis Schroeder, but the Lakers defense has seen leaks without Anthony Davis. I could see Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell having themselves games. I could see Mike Conley having a good game. So give me over 218 with the Lakers and the Jazz for tonight. So there you have it for the NBA. Now we'll do the NHL. We'll look back on last night's window of games and look ahead to what I think is a smaller window for the night in the National Hockey League. Sabres over the Devils 4-1. The Sabres 6-8-2. Devils 6-6-2. The number 3 started the game with 2 assists. Sam Reinhart, the number 2, started the game with the goal. Victor Olofsson, number 1, started the game with 41 saves on 42 shots. Linus Ullmark. Penguins over the Capitals 3-2 in overtime on a game-winning goal by Kasperi Kapanen. As the Penguins go to 10-6-1. Washington 9-5-4. The number 3 started the game with 34 saves on 37 shots. Vitek Vanacek, The number 2 star of the game with 20 saves on 22 shots, Tristan Jarry. And the number 1 star of the game with the goal and assist, Kasperi Kapanen. Blackhawks over the Blue Jackets 6-5. The Blackhawks 10-6-4. Columbus 8-7-5. The number 2 star of the game with 2 goals, Oliver Bjorkstrand. The number 2 star of the game with 2 goals and an assist, Patrick Laine. And the number 1 star of the game with the goal and 3 assists, Patrick Kane. And the shootout game winner was by Alex DeBrincat. Sens over the Canadiens 5-4 in the shootout. Ottawa's starting to play a little bit better. They're 6-14-1. Montreal 9-5-4. The number 3 star of the game with the goal and an assist, Drake Batherson. The number 2 star of the game with 2 goals, Shea Weber. And the number 1 star of the game with 2 goals, Brady Tkachuk. And the shootout winner was by Josh Norris of Ottawa. Predators over the Red Wings 2-0. Nashville 8-10-0. Detroit 5-13-3. The number 3 star of the game with the goal, Eli Tolvanen. The number 2 star of the game with 24 saves on 24 shots, Pecorino. And the number 1 star of the game with a goal and assist, Philip Forsberg. Oilers over the Canucks 4-3. Oilers 13-8. Vancouver 8-13-2. The number 3 star of the game with 2 goals, Dominic Hahn. The number 2 star of the game with the goal and assist, Elias Pettersson. And the number 1 star of the game with 3 assists, Leon Draisaitl. Actually, it's a busier slate on the docket than I thought. We have a game at 5 o'clock tonight, and that's between the Hurricanes and the Lightning from Raleigh. Or no, it's from Tampa. Minus 134. Carolina's plus 130. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 115. Unders minus 135. Lightning minus 1.5 is plus 164. Hurricanes plus 1.5 is minus 196. This is a hard one. I'm going to take the juice under at minus 135. I like both teams defensively. And I think that Vasilevsky can make some big saves here. So give me a juice under 6.5 at minus 135. Another 5 o'clock game. Stars-Panthers. The Panthers minus 148. Dallas is plus 126. Over under 5.5. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 205. Dallas plus 1.5 is minus 250. I'm going to take the over. That is very low. I know that the Florida goalie is playing surprisingly well at the moment, and Antoine Khudobin's coming off a great game. But I'm going to go over 5.5. This could very well be empty netter is the 6th goal. NBCSN tonight, Rangers Flyers. It's probably going to be John Forslund, Eddie Olczyk, and Brian Boucher on the call because last name was Kenny Albert and Pierre McGuire with Penguins Caps. Flyers are minus 132. The Rangers are plus 112. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders even money. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 260. Flyers minus 1.5 is plus 215. I don't feel good about this pick at all, but I'm going to actually lay the puck line with the Flyers. The Rangers are going through some tumultuous times, and I think this could be a distraction for the Rangers going forward with this Artemi Panarin situation. They're a mess. They're literally, as I said yesterday on the show, they're literally the opposite team of the Garden. That's the Knicks, the team that's always dysfunctional. But no, the Rangers feel like the Knicks right now. And the Knicks feel like the feel-good story that normally would be the Rangers. So I'm taking the Flyers plus 1.5, or minus 1.5 is plus 215. This is an anti-Rangers pick more than a pro-Flyers pick because the Rangers are a mess at the moment with their turmoil. So give me Flyers minus 1.5 is plus 215. And this could very well be empty net, steals the game. This could be a high-scoring game and then a one-goal game, and the Flyers get the empty net to win. This could very well be that case as well. But I think this could be a blowout. So give me the Flyers minus 1.5 at plus 215. Flames, Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are minus 164. The Flames are plus 136. Over under 6.5. The Flames plus 1.5 is minus 184. Toronto minus 1.5 is plus 154. I'm going to make a surprising underplay here for the Flames and the Leafs. These have been lately two under teams, so I'm going to go under 6.5. This could very well be a 3-2 game. 9 o'clock, Ducks, Coyotes. The Coyotes are minus 164. The Ducks are plus 138. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 120. Unders minus 140. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 190. Coyotes minus 1.5 is plus 160. I'm going to take the over here at plus 120. The Ducks called up Trevor Zegras finally. And I don't like how Darcy Kemper's really played all year. John Gibson really hasn't been that great of late either. So I'm going to go over 5.5 at plus 120. I'm just aiming for value there. Wild Avalanche. The Avs are minus 190. The Wild are plus 160. Over under 5.5. Colorado plus or minus 1.5 is plus 128, and the Wild plus 1.5 is minus 152. I'm going to go with the under here. These two teams are playing good defensively. This could be a 3-2 game, so under 5.5. And last but not least, 9:30 Kings Blues on NBCSN. The Blues are minus 164. The Kings are plus 138. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. The Kings plus 1.5 is minus 180. The Blues minus 1.5 is plus 152. I'm going to go with another under here. Jonathan Quick has kept the Kings in a ton of these games. I think this has 3-2 written all over it. So I'm going to go under 5.5 at minus 115. Now I'm going to do my latest NCAA mock bracket as I'm going to go through seed by seed in my mock bracket. So without further ado, here we go. My number 1 overall seed in the number 1 region, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. My number 2 overall seed in the 2 region and my number 1 seed in the 2 region, the Baylor Bears. My number 1 seed in the number 3 region and the number 3 overall seed, the Michigan Wolverines. And my number 1 seed in the number 4 region, the number 4 overall seed, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm just going to go through the regions and go through the order of the seeding. So, the number 2 region, my 2 seed is Villanova. 3 seed West Virginia, 4 seed Iowa, 5 seed San Diego State, 6 seed Purdue, 7 seed Oregon, 8 seed UConn, 9 seed North Carolina, 10 seed Wisconsin, 11 seed Duke, 12 seed VCU, and Seton Hall playing game, 13 seed Toledo, 14 seed UMBC, 15 seed Eastern Washington, 16 seed Sam Houston State. My number 2 region bracket. The 2 seed Illinois, 3 seed Virginia, 4 seed USC, Xavier 5, Kansas 6, 7 Florida, 8 LSU, 9 Texas Tech, 10 Syracuse, 11 Wichita State, 12 seed play-in match, Maryland Drake, 13 Liberty, 14 South Dakota, 15 Wright State, 16 Colgate. And then the number 3 region, my number 2 seed, Florida State, 3 Creighton, 4 Oklahoma, 5 Arkansas, 6 UCLA, 7 Oklahoma State. I'm just assuming that they're going to be eligible to play. 8 BYU, 9 Colorado, 10 Missouri, 11 Boise State, 12 Belmont, 13 UNC Greensboro, 14 Texas State, 15 UC Santa Barbara, 16 play-in match Siena and Wagner. And then in the number 4 region, my number 2 seed's Alabama, 3 Houston, 4 Virginia Tech, 5 Texas, 6 Louisville, 7 Clemson, 8 Tennessee, 9 St. Bonaventure, 10 Loyola Chicago, 11 Colorado State, 12 Winthrop, 13 Western Kentucky, 14 James Madison, 15 Grand Canyon, and 16 a play-in match between Prairie View and North Carolina A&T. I know some of the matchups in my bracket looked like matchups that CBS would be aiming for. Like in the same region I had, I believe, Duke, Carolina, West Virginia, Villanova, and Gonzaga, which is absolutely crazy. And Oregon, I think, too, and Wisconsin. So that is just absolutely of a loaded region if that were to come into fruition. Now I'm going to do my discussion on the NBA All-Star rosters. I'm going to start with the West. I absolutely nailed the West, which was unbelievable. I did not think I nailed the West, but here I did. But I am going to assume that Anthony Davis will not play, and they'll pick a replacement. Which we talked about yesterday. Starters are Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic. And I absolutely nailed the West reserves. Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, and Chris Paul. And I thought that And my prediction for the wild card is the Aaron Fox. But a lot of people in the media and players were in an outcry that Devin Booker did not get picked. But my case against Devin Booker is that I think that other players will be recognized, and if they had to pick a Phoenix Sun, it would be Chris Paul, not Devin Booker, because to me, Chris Paul changed that team, and if it weren't for him, they would be mediocre. So that's why I took Chris Paul over Devin Booker, but I won't be shocked if Devin Booker gets the wild card Anthony Davis replacement spot instead of my prediction of De'Aaron Fox, who himself has had a breakout season. The East reserves. We talked about yesterday that Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid would be the starters. And in the East reserves, Ben Simmons, James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine, and Julius Randle were your Eastern Conference reserves. So I went 5 for 7 on the reserves. I missed on 2. Jason Tatum and Nikola Vucevic both made it, and the 2 players I had picked were Gordon Hayward and Domantas Sabonis. I'm sorry, the Boston Celtics should not have 2 players on the All-Star team. They're 15 and 16. I know they're getting complete favoritism from the league because of their franchise name, but to me, one Celtic should be in, and that Celtic should be the breakout star of the team, Jaylen Brown, and not Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum's awesome. I get it. He's a star. He made the All-Star team a year ago, but I'm sorry. Give somebody else in the Eastern Conference a chance, and Jaylen Brown belongs there. Nikola Vucevic should not be on the All-Star team. Orlando's 13 and 18. They've underachieved all year. But I get it. It's because of injuries. I know Vucevic's having a career year himself, but to me, there are more deserving players than Nikola Vucevic. Instead of Vucevic and Jason Tatum, the 2 guys that I think should have been there were Domantas Sabonis, who's having an unbelievable season for the Indiana Pacers, keeping them afloat without Karis LeVert, who's yet to play a minute for the Pacers, and TJ Warren, and Gordon Hayward, who's led the way for a surprisingly decent Charlotte Hornets team. So I think those were the 2 guys that were snubbed, and instead they'd get the Boston Celtics with 2 guys, with Tatum and Brown, and Tatum should not be there, and Jalen should, and Nikola Vucevic, who's on an underachieving Orlando team. I'm happy for Julius Randle and Zach LaVine. I thought that they'd pick those guys because those 2 teams, respectively, in the Bulls and the Knicks, are having surprising success. But it's not a surprise that those 2 were chosen over Domantas Sabonis in retrospect, and Gordon Hayward as well, because of the teams they play for and the marketing opportunities there are for the big markets rather than the small market Hornets and the small market Pacers. But instead they pick a big market team, the Celtics, having 2 players, and a small market team, big man, whose team is worse than the Hornets and the Pacers. The Boston Celtics, again, should not have 2 players on the All-Star team. They're 15 and 16. They should have 1. And Orlando should not have anybody on the All-Star team. And I think that Gordon Hayward and Domantas Sabonis were badly snubbed. Chris Middleton, people are saying, got snubbed, but the Bucks have not lived up to expectations that much this year. But if any Buck is there, it's Giannis. And I think Chris Middleton is arguably the most overrated player in all of basketball. So that's why I would not have Chris Middleton there. So there's my take on the All-Star rosters. And now the news and notes for today. We have to unfortunately, start this segment off with what was the worst news of yesterday. Tiger Woods was involved in a single vehicle car accident in a suburb of Los Angeles. This is very, very sad news. He has multiple leg injuries, and he was not on his own power getting out of the vehicle, but luckily he's alive. And the sheriff's department did not use Jaws of Life and found in Woods, and he was in stable condition and with no evidence of impairment. 2 leg fractures. And then the Tiger Woods Foundation gave an update on his condition that he is awake, responsive, and recovering after surgery. Sad day yesterday, but luckily he's alive and awake and responsive after surgery. We don't know what the timeline is going to be for the return of Tiger Woods. And obviously you saw the entire world in sports and pop culture come out and support Tiger Woods and giving them the well wishes he deserves, because this was scary, and hopefully Tiger comes out of this stronger and better than ever. And to think that 2 years ago he won the Masters, and obviously COVID happened last year, so we didn't see much of Tiger last year, and it's just unfortunate that he had to deal with this bad accident. So thoughts and prayers to Tiger Woods and his family as Tiger recovers from this brutal accident. Another thing that came out is that the Steelers just made a statement, and that is regarding the future of Ben Roethlisberger. And the director of communications, Burt Lawton, made this statement, or not made this statement, but released a statement from Art Rooney, who's obviously the Steelers president, and said, Ben Roethlisberger and I met yesterday morning, and we had a productive meeting. We were able to discuss a lot of things that relate to where we are and where we want to go. Ben assured me that he is committed to coming back to help us win, and I told Ben that we'd like to have him back to help us win a championship. We both understand that the next step is to work out Ben's contract situation. All right, so it looks like that Ben is likely going to be back. That's exactly what I thought would happen. It's just that contract needs to get worked out, and then they have to make some roster moves, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're fine defensively, but I think that their offense needs some improvements, especially the line. Will Alejandro Villanueva be back? Will they have to replace him? Their pick is in the 20s. So the Steelers, I think, have some work to do in the offseason. And it's a lot of significant work because they are not at the level of Kansas City or Buffalo. Heck, they're probably a third-tier AFC team. I think that if the season were to start today, I would predict them not even a division winner, and at best probably a 6 or 7 seed, because I like the Ravens. I like, obviously, the Bills, the Colts, and the Chiefs. And I like the Browns better. I like the Dolphins better, especially if they add Deshaun Watson. The Chargers are pretty good too with Herbert. I think they could make a jump forward. So the Steelers aren't even a guaranteed playoff team at this point. So the Steelers really have a lot of work to do to get back to a playoff caliber team level. So that's good that the Steelers met with Ben to discuss the cap situation. Hopefully Ben takes a little bit of a discount so they can clear up some cap room to help improve their roster for this season. We have some breaking news in hockey, and this is surprising because this team was playing very, very well. The Montreal Canadiens have fired head coach Claude Julien, and assistant coach Kirk Muller was also fired. This is a stunner. The Montreal Canadiens are in second place in their division. They're in fourth. I didn't realize that they've fallen off. 9-5-4, 22 points. But to me, this is still stunning. They are still a playoff team if the season were to end. They were playing great hockey. They were playing so well, and they faltered. I did not expect this coaching change coming. especially after that good start. Wow. So now the question is, what's to come? Dominique Ducharme takes over on an interim basis. If the Canadians make the postseason and say they go on a run, I think that Ducharme may save his job. This could very well be the Penguins situation of a couple years ago when they fired their coach and then brought in Mike Sullivan, and they wound up winning the Cup in back-to-back years. And then the same situation happened with the Blues. And when they fired Mike Yeo and then brought in Craig Berube, the rest is history. It did not work with the Maple Leafs with Mike when they fired Mike Babcock a couple years ago. And these hockey teams are trying to do it, firing their coach and making the coaching change in season and trying to win the Cup. I know we saw that with the Penguins, we saw it with the Blues. That's what the Canadians are going for here. It did not work with the Maple Leafs. So we'll see if it works here with the Montreal Canadiens. On Twitter yesterday, the Washington professional football team hinted at a new name tease, which is very interesting. They teased the name change by launching a website touting new name, new era for 2022. So it looks like that the name change could very well not come until next year. So that is very interesting. They have some options. Will they go with an animal? Will they go with something different? Like a figure? So I can't go with any of them on top of my head in terms of what the name could potentially be. But it's going to be interesting to see what they choose. Steve Nash, the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, said that Kevin Durant is supposed to be back before the All-Star break, which is good news for the Brooklyn Nets. Although they are riding high on this great win streak, they have right now having that wonderful West Coast trip, and now they're only a half game back of the 76ers. They have won 7 straight and going for 8 in a row on Thursday night at home against the Magic. I wonder how long this winning streak's going to go, and then I think this could go pretty long. Before the All-Star break, I think we could very well be talking about the Brooklyn Nets on an 11-game win streak, and that this could carry into the second half of the season. Maybe this could be the 2012-13 Miami Heat in a way, where they go on this great winning streak and everybody gets excited. Or the Warriors from a couple years ago. Although Durant was not involved in that one. That was just Curry, Thompson, and Draymond. That was the year before they got Durant. And that was the year that Steve Kerr had the leave of absence and Luke Walton took over. And that really made a name for Luke Walton. And that's a big reason why Luke Walton still has a job. And the second half of the NBA schedule could very well come out this weekend or early next week, and we're obviously going to get into that on the podcast. And one more news item that I wanted to touch on, but I forgot what it was. What was it? So we talked about the name change for the Washington professional football team. There was a name change and then the coaching change from the Montreal Canadiens. But yeah, there was one more news item that I wanted to hit on, but I'm trying to figure out what it was. But anyway, if I think of it, then they'll say it after best bet. So here we go. Best bet of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. There's not a slam dunk choice for me for best bet for the day. But there's some that I like, but not necessarily love. I'm going to go to the NBA. And there was one that stood out, and the line actually went up a little bit. And that's the Chicago Bulls -4 at home against the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are a mess. They're tanking. The Bulls are playing good basketball led by Zach LaVine. So I'm going to lay the 4 with Chicago against the Timberwolves. And that was 3.5 when I did the segment. It went up to 4. So there you have it for best bet. And that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, looking ahead to tomorrow's games in each sport. NFL mock draft tomorrow. And then tonight I'm going to drop a podcast previewing and predicting the Horizon League men's basketball tournament, which begins tomorrow. And then all next week and the following week, I'll be dropping podcasts left and right, previewing all these conference tournaments. Last year felt like a waste because it was announced while I was recording a conference tournament preview podcast that the whole Gobert situation happened, and we all knew from that point on where it was trending for college basketball with COVID. So it's just unfortunate from last year, but hopefully we have a great March in college basketball that will make up for it. So hope you guys have a wonderful day, everyone.